Hello, this is Russell from
Tones of Evil.
and you're listening to Capes and Lunatics.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
That's right, peasants. Get down on your knees and worship his most worthiness. That's right. We are here to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Victor Von Doom himself. On another episode of Capes and Lunatics.
What a joke this guy is.
Well, I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Doom expert himself, it is
Charlie, the professor, an actual professor, because I'm professing things. Esser. Unlike that dropout Doom, who only professes his love for himself. Yeah, I know, he's a doctor. Yes, I know. That was Tristan, correct. Yeah, okay, put your headset away and let's get this party started, Philip.
Yeah, so was Bill Cosby. All right. Anyway,
I think he had a doctorate in physical education.
Oh, did he?
Weirdly enough. He had a doctorate in something. Anyway, moving right along.
All right, so you picked the issues this time, my friend, so yes.
Yes, I
these.
did, and my first issue from the original run, What If, number 22, what if Dr. Doom had become a hero? They don't put it in quotes, but I'm putting it in quotes, because you know what? This is Dr. Doom. We'll get your usual intro. Dr. Doom, he's a big bad man. He does evil. Got his face all burnt up. But you know what, man? Sometimes the world can take a different path. Well, he doesn't have a scar in this one, but that's kind of the point here, you see. Because in this one, when him and Reed meet, Reed actually makes a point to him, and then Reed very magnanimously says, "Hey, I'm sure you're going to need an assistant on this, right?" And Doom was like, "Oh, man, okay. I'm not going to have to fight you over this. That's good. I'm gonna let you be my assistant. We're going to do this project together. Let's see what happens."
Let me help you before you blow your face off.
Yeah, before you blow your freaking face off, Victor. And, you know, it works out just fine. He goes, he meets Mephisto, he gets out of it. His mom is saying, "Victor, why did you, Victor, help me, Victor Von Doom. You're my only hope." And it is what it is. But, at the end of it, Victor, he's got some thinking to do. He's got to go and figure out how he's going to deal with this Mephisto thing now that he knows what the problem is. Because that's the thing, you got to do that first initial expedition to gather data. Once you have the data, you can move forward from there,
Oh, yeah.
And he meets the monks. The monks are real nice. They make him the fancy gold armor with a nice helmet. Looks really cool. Continues to study the mystic arts and science. And this one thing I like about it is that he is much more invested in the mystic arts in this. It's like you can see it's a lot more magic to his power than just the machinery and the armor and all of that sort of thing.
Well, sometimes maybe he indulged in science and in the 616 because it's like, oh, hey, his mortal enemy is Reed Richards. Reed Richards, a man of science. He wants to beat him at his own game.
Well, to be fair, I think what it is they weren't giving courses in the mystic arts. At Empire State University. Now they do. But, at that time, it was a little harder to learn the arcana. So he was always talented with science, so he was much more happier to work on the science. And we see that he does face off with Mephisto. After he faces Mephisto, He frees his daughter. He frees his mother. We see here, what's his name? I forget the actual Baron's name in this, but
when he goes back to Latveria.
Yeah, he makes short work of all these people. He doesn't use force per se, but one guy gets turned into a frog. There's a ricocheting bullet that kills the Baron, and then he winds up taking over Latveria, and then he frees the gypsies, as you do.
Oh, Prince Rudolfo?
Yes, Prince Rudolfo, yeah. And then he just becomes the beloved ruler of Latveria, marries his beautiful wife, Valeria. It's all very sweet, until one day Mephisto comes to claim what's his. Now, here's the thing, Philip.
Yes.
I hold to this day, Mephisto never had a claim on anyone. That this is all illusion and smoke and mirrors, not dissimilar from what what's his name does, Mysterio.
Ooh.
And when he makes these deals and these offers to Doom, it is just to get Doom to admit that he would rather Valeria be trapped in heck than him. Because as it comes down to it, in the end, he says, the world must have Doom. The world cannot possibly go on without Doom. I could give up my own soul willingly, but I'm not about to do that.
I don't know, Mephisto, I don't know if he likes to torment people or draws strength from it, but yeah, he always has...
I mean, it's entirely possible that, he had a little double secret probation thing with Valeria. Who knows what it was? But I'm just saying, you get the feeling from this that had Doom just continued to fight, eventually, Mephisto would have had to relent. Because he never really had a hold on anyone. Like, the one person he had a hold on was Christina, Doom's mom, and Doom already freed her. So now, you could make an argument that he could make a claim to Doom's soul. But even then, it's only if Doom cannot fight him off. And then by giving...
Uh-oh, technical difficulties. Yeah, this Mephisto. What a jerk. So whenever we get Charlie back, I think, yes, the first thing we learned about Doom in this issue, even as a hero, even trying to be a hero, Doom's ego always gets in the way. Ooh, that'd be a good recurring character for our show, Dr. Doom. Just like that Dr. Bong on Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast. Proud members of the collective. But yeah, this thing is very, very interesting. Just lost Charlie. Hopefully he will return soon. So yeah, I mean, basically the deal goes through where basically Doom's mother is, I guess, freed from hell and is able to, they don't call it heaven, but I guess free in the afterlife. So basically heaven or wherever that her soul goes. And then Doom comes back to Latveria. Nobody knows where Valeria is. And it's basically how the issue ends. It's just him locked away in his castle. I don't know how often he attempts it, but he just attempts to fight his way back to Mephisto's realm and free Valerian. I don't think he gets past, the lower demons to even get to Mephisto, at least here. Oh, yes, because just like in regular 616 stories, yes, it's an annual ritual, so every year he gets one shot at it, and guess he fails. Hello.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I was saying, so I guess, the moral of this story is it's even as a hero, Doom's ego gets in the way.
Well, of course it is, because it gets in the way of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every story we see in this, it's all about Doom just being a jerk. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I will say it, Philip. He is a freaking jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk What If number 1, Secret Wars from 2008.
Yes.
This is a delightful story. It is the story of Doom winning the Secret Wars, effectively. But, this is the thing about it. Again, phenomenal power, unlimited reach, but he can't let go of who he is. And he's doing the whole Dr. Manhattan thing throughout this, where I am here, and I am there, and I am this time in the future, and I am this time in the past, and all of these things, and these battles I must wage. It's an interesting read. I'll give it that much. It is a delightful read. It is a solid presentation. But, at the end of the day, the problem with it is just that, for whatever happens, Doom is full of this self-loathing, if you will. Throughout it all, he is always pushing his own envelope towards his own destruction because he cannot accept the idea that he is in any way not the one who has to be the one holding the scalpel. As they said to poor old Doctor Strange, It's like it doesn't matter what else happens, the world needs Doom, And that, I think, is really kind of the moment of this, when he's fighting the Celestials, when he decimates the world, when he, effectively takes over the world and then has to kill... Well, he doesn't kill Tony Stark, but he makes it that is...
he never sobers up.
Yeah, that he's constantly drunk and that, what's his name? Stephen Strange can't use his powers, and no matter how much they fight him, they're always defeated. And then eventually, Doom does make the world a little bit better, but then he has to wage war against all of the other races in the galaxy. Then he has to fight the devil to free his mom. And then he keeps on coming back to picking up the mask at the end of it all. And at the end of it, he sees the humans, like, the last of the humans after the planet's been devastated. He uses the last of his powers to protect the world. Because he sees, it's a father and a child, and he's just trying to escape. And just like his father, who died to do that after his mom died. And, paging Dr. Freud here, it's like supervillain origins that just like, you could have also used that origin to be a hero, Doom. You could have been like, really, he could have been freaking Batman, except, with a country. He could have taken over his country, freed his people, stopped the oppression of gypsies, and then, we see at the end he is back on Earth in the epilogue, and he just meets a settlement of humans and, goes about his business. But you know what? I don't think he's learned a thing. I guarantee you in a month of Sundays, he's going to kill every last person in that settlement.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's all well and good.
But like you were saying, it's like, he could go to, could be the Batman of his own country and stuff. It's like, even in the, it's like every version, it's like Latveria is like, even when he takes over, the only like high tech is usually his stuff, like his Doombots and stuff. I'm like, why isn't the whole country like a technological paradise? I mean, like Wakanda.
Yeah, I mean, it is its own, it's its own problem within the story. Are you frozen right now, Phil?
I could hear you. Your video froze, but I could hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, no, it's my Wi-Fi. It's always a pain. But anyway, moving right along. So, and then it's, Deadpool versus, Venom. So that was fun. That was the one that we were actually supposed to read. What if Tony Stark had become Dr. Doom? Bum, bum, bum.
And vice versa.
And that's an interesting twist how they present it to us, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Because on one hand, Tony Stark does become Dr. Doom. But on the other hand, Tony Stark actually becomes Dr. Doom. And this is pretty interesting, especially in the fact, what I love about this is the fact that Tony Stark just isn't having any of Dr. Doom. He's just absolutely not interested, Victor. It's like, no, Moot, man, I'm your roommate. You can be as hoity-toity as you want. I live here now. I listen to rock and roll, and you need to not be so wound up tight. Otherwise, you're going to miss that huge mistake you just made in your math problem. Because that should be cubed, not squared, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to blow your freaking face off if you follow those instructions. Wah, wah, wah. And then, of course, what happens is Doom decides he's going to, move ahead with his secret project. Doesn't want anyone to know, and because he has to make sure he doesn't get kicked out of school, yada yada. Then he agrees to do an experiment with Tony Stark to increase human psionic abilities, but, well, it's not quite what he implied. And here he does the old switcheroo mind swap, leaves Tony Stark in Dr. Doom's body with no memory of who he was.
Exactly.
But apparently the ability to speak flawless Latvian. So, Latvian in English, and I guess he probably had some scientific skills too. But he has no, personal memory of who he was. But it is just his soul got put over there. He's sent back to Latvia, penniless, friendless, homeless. Goes into the bottle, but then digs himself out of it, And meanwhile, Doom as Stark is living his best life, creating arms and weaponry. And one thing I find very interesting about this Doom is that, again, it is this idea that his brain has been rewritten to be Tony Stark, but he's not really Doom anymore. Because, you see, he really couldn't give two flibberty gibbets about his mom.
Yeah.
It's like now he's just like, you know what, I'm kind of in this role now, and this is what I'm going to do. And it's funny in its own way, because it seems like, his desire to conquer the world and prove himself the better man all stemmed from the fact that he was unwilling to accept anyone else's assistance in saving his mom. So it is very interesting, and I do love the fact that this guy I love the fact that Stark in Doom's body actually creates Doom Industries. And I love how they, that as they move forward, they have their own art. They keep their same color schemes and things of that nature. And again, it just shows how petty Doom is, really. Because even at the end of this, after he has defeated Stark, and he says, I can give you something you may not realize. You're actually Tony Stark, and I am actually Victor Von Doom. And I will give you back the name Stark. I will let you be Stark again if you just, give me asylum and yada, yada, yada. He's like, why in goodness' name would I want that? The world has come to see the name Stark as venial capitalistic greed. And, dude, I'm a hero. Thank you very much.
And it's like, I don't remember that life anyway, so you're in an offer.
Exactly. And why would he want it? And I do love that he makes the exact same Dr. Doom armor, which, again, to me, I think feels like there's a quality of this is Victor's body, and Victor's motivations are still a part of that body, even though it's now has the essence of Stark imbued into it.
Well, I think it kind of works on both of them, too, because, Doom in Stark's body, he's really not doing magic. He's just going full tech, basically, so...
Exactly. I really feel like there's a lot that goes on in that. And I do think that's cool, and it's neat to see how if you just put a different soul into Doom's body, he's a much better person. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like, without all of the baggage that Tony Stark carries with him everywhere, if he just had complete amnesia but also a super genius, he would actually live a very nice and noble life doing good deeds. And of course it's interesting, neither one of them seems to be that interested in magic, because of course Tony Stark has no reason to want to be in magic. He doesn't know anyone who did magic. He wants to build inventions and things like that. And I love the fact that, within this, it's just this whole idea about, this little country of Latveria seems to be a technological powerhouse. There's these arc reactors they're building. They're going to put us out of business.
Yeah, and again, that's the other reason why, when Doom tried to give him his life back, he's like, why? I already have everything I would have if I was Tony Stark.
Exactly. I do like Deadpool being assigned to kill the Beyonder. Or at this point, he was Frank from Beyond, as you know. And it's a fun story as stories go, without a doubt. Especially, although it's interesting when he gets the symbiote here, because as we all know, in Deadpool Secret Wars, he's already been bound with the symbiote prior to this. So, So that was good. Should we go on to Fantastic Four now?
Yes, those two issues. Yes, John Byrne issues. Yes.
The return of the real Doctor Doom.
Oh yeah, remember when we covered Secret Wars over on Avengers, kids?
Yeah.
Where did that Doom come from since he was already dead? Well, you're about to find out.
Yeah, well, as it turns out, he was from the future, Philip. Because that's the whole gag, is, he was... Well, let's get to that. So we start off with this young woman. I love the thought bubbles, or the thing. This is Peggy MacArthur, average American housewife. In 10 seconds, she will make a decision. And if it's the wrong one, it will mean the end of the Fantastic Four. So we do see that, yes, we do see that we have Janet Van Dyne and Mr. Fantastic, because she's all about them scientists. I'm just going to be honest with you. She's like, hey, if you and Sue don't work out, give me a call, baby.
I think it's more of they're staying in Avengers Mansion. She's like, you're not like ripping up my basement, are you?
Yeah, well, it's all well and good. It is fine. They're all friends, and it's not like he's the only guy with all of these items in their in their house here. Sue's going off to get her hair done, along with Jen Walters, who is very excited. As they are getting their hair done with Janet Van Dyne. Is that Janet Van Dyne? Yeah, that's Janet Van Dyne. Yeah. Before they get to her, the booms start, and it's the Invincible Man, Philip.
Mm-hmm.
The Invincible Man.
But that's impossible.
No, that's a different guy. Yes, the Invincible Man, he is attacking... he's attacking the Latvian embassy, but then we find out that the reason he's attacking the Latvian embassy is because inside the embassy is Doom, and he needs to deal with Doom for reasons which he's not going to elaborate on.
Yeah.
We then find out that Peggy goes over to... I'm not sure if that's her aunt or just her neighbor's house. Or
I thought it was just the neighbor.
Yeah, it seems to be just a neighbor. And basically tells a story about how when her husband, Norm MacArthur came back from the mall, or from the ShopRite, he started acting weird and had a weird German accent and started building stuff in the basement, and then she realized that the guy on the TV was him. So, meanwhile, the Invincible Man and She-Hulk go in to make waste of some pesky Doombots. Meanwhile, the Invisible Woman turns invisible to follow him, as Peggy and her neighbor are also searching for them. Who's watching the baby?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Because I could see like maybe the neighbor watching the kid, but I guess the neighbor says, well, we'll let my daughter watch him, or we'll let someone watch the baby while we go figure out what's going on with your husband. I think the neighbor just wanted to know how it all worked out.
Exactly.
But we do see that basically, the Invincible Man, who says, tellingly, Doom never dies, as he attacks the Invisible Woman from behind, a cowardly move, as is fitting of who this person is. Then we see that, in fact, after Peggy knocks out the Invisible Woman with a probably priceless vase, we realize that when he pulls the cloth mask off, it's an iron mask underneath it, because it's Dr. Doom. And he just always has mask under mask under mask. Meanwhile, we see that, Johnny Storm sees the flare and he has to go get it, and poor Alicia is left in the carriage all alone. Yeah, we all know who you are, Alicia.
But yes, but also in this issue, yes, Norm, well, was it his name, Norm? Yes, reveals that yes, he is actually Victor Von Doom. In the battle with Terax, when he was in the Silver Surfer, when he was supposedly killed, yes, he used that old ovoid trick to switch his mind.
Yeah, just like he did to Tony Stark before he even met the ovoid. So good for him. Good for him. I mean, if I'm going to say anything about this, I'm just going to say there's a lot of flashbacks in this.
Oh yeah.
There's just a lot of exposition. It was nice when I was a kid and I was reading it for the first time. I was like, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh. Now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I've read that before. Anyway, so, meanwhile, everyone is just tearing this poor mansion apart. Johnny Storm comes in, just starts melting up bots, meets Peggy's neighbor, who basically explains what's going on. They fly in. She-Hulk is also smacking up some bots. Reed eventually shows up. And then, of course, he uses the make everyone pass out beam, which is, in its own way surprising that he doesn't use that more. Imprisons everyone as you do. Uses the, no one is more brilliant than Doom. No one.
But he kind of talks as if this is the first time he's met She-Hulk, but
well,
it
kind of is.
I know.
That's the whole point. This is the whole thing. Because this is a Doom from the future. And this is a Doom who is... Well, no, this is actually the Doom from the current timeline.
Yes.
The Doom on Battleworld is a Doom from the future.
Mm-hmm.
Who still will have only met She-Hulk for the first time on Battleworld.
That he remembers.
Because there's a whole episode later when we get to Secret Wars 3 where he says, give me back my memories! Give me back my whole mind, man!
Oh, that's right, I forgot, yeah.
Yes, he fights the freaking Beyonder. I love this Beyonder just in the fact that he is clearly not happy with anybody right now. And he basically, and I do love the fact that he basically, that Reed saves the day, expressly because he makes the point that, Beyonder, much like Doctor Strange does in the whole "I've come to make a bargain" thing, just says, "Are you more powerful than time, Beyonder?" And it's a weird concept because he's from a dimension without time. It's like, no.
I know, because Reed's just like, you have to complete that loop, and if you don't, you could destroy all time and space. I don't think even you could survive that.
Exactly. It's the classic paradox. It's the classic God paradox, Is God more powerful than time? Can God reverse time? Can God do all these things? I don't know. But you know what? It's all very interesting, especially because, he gets the chance. He could destroy this guy, but he says, first off, there's the guy to consider, it's Norman MacArthur, isn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, Norman MacArthur, and he says, you can put him in this, and he says, fine, I'll fix their brains, I'll make a new body for Doom, and I'll send him back to where I plucked him, and I'll send him back from where I plucked him from, and that effectively creates the loop.
Wiping Doom's memory that he doesn't remember any of that, doesn't remember. Yeah.
It's delightful, and it's a good issue. It's a really good issue. It's actually one of my favorites, but you get just at its core the fact that, you know what? Doom is kind of a jerk.
Oh yeah, especially at the end when Reed's like, let's get out of here, because Doom's probably going to pop up any second. Let's get these let's get these innocent bystanders out of here. And, Doom ain't going to be in a good mood after Secret Wars.
Yeah, really. You want to talk some comics, Phil?
Yeah. What have we been doing? Yes, new comics, yes.
Well, yeah, new comics.
Yes.
I mean, do you have a grand unified theory of Doctor Doom for us, Phil?
What was it? Yes, his ego always trips him up. Pretty much the ego, isn't it?
It's always the ego. It is always him really trying to prove himself against no one. No one is asking him to,
Overestimating himself.
Really, yeah. That's the other aspect. It's like, dude, just relax. It ain't that big a deal, Doomy. Okay. So I got a nice indie comic here. This is from Dark Horse Comics, number 1, Shock Shop.
Ooh.
Shock Shop. We've got our nice little host here, whose name is Desdemona Nimue Moreau. and she's got a little comic and novelty shop that's just the thing to tempt you. And she tells little anthology stories that are very cool. But the thing that's interesting about them is they all have a neat little twist at the end. And as you go and you read, you realize that, oh, wow, this guy's in a haunted house, but they're super cool elves or trolls or goblins or whatever. Nothing to fear until his kids visit and they have a wonderful day. And then you see, oh, no, they're actually evil monsters from another realm. Or maybe they just look funny, man. Why are you so judgmental, Phil? And then this is the fun part. You see that this story continues next issue, but she says, hey, don't turn that page. Turn the book upside down and read another story. So we turn the book upside down and read another story, Phil. And this one, again, our same comic shop owner, which I do love. I love that as a conceit. So here's first off, I love a horror anthology to start with. I love that it's a horror anthology told in multiple parts, which is interesting. I love the conceit of turning the book upside down, which is a lot of fun. And this one is about a group of people whose couple friend has decided to, have basically they broke up. And their friends are trying to get them back together by taking them on a hike. And no one is enjoying it, quite frankly. They get caught they're in the tent. Stories been told. You get the basic idea that, she cheated on him. And he, cooked some books at his job for some reason. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what's going on with that. I don't know how those two facts relate, but they do. And then there is a woman there that, runs away from them. It looks like the girl, but actually, nope. It's a crazy monster. Don't turn that page, Phil. This is the story at the start of the book. I like this book. It's a lot of fun. It's an exciting story. Can't wait to read more.
Nice.
You have a book for us, Phil?
Here, let me throw out Punisher number 6. You might be interested in this, because one of the big things in this issue is the fight between Frank and Ares.
Oh, good old Ares.
Yes.
I like him.
Because he's like, what has the hand done to you? He's like, you were like my most perfect disciple. He's like, what have they done to you, my boy? He's like, let's go kill them, and I'll bring you back to greatness. And Frank's just like,
well, hey, Ares, he's a good god of war. You got to respect the man for what he is.
Oh yeah,
he loves about it. He loves it. He loves his charges, man.
Oh yeah. He's like, you were hardened in war, and it made you like my perfect, But yeah, a lot of this is just, but I mean, finally Ares pretty much, I don't know if he kills Frank or pretty much closely kills Frank, but then the hand brings him back, of course. And then we see why his children haven't been around, because I guess the hand's been trying to resurrect his children, but it's not always successful. Because they're just, the woman in charge, she's like, it's hard to bring back children, especially ones who've been dead longer than they were actually alive.
Yeah, that can be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, they could bring them like half back. They're like these mutated, you could tell they're probably pretty much in pain. They can't survive on their own, so Frank basically has to put his children out of their misery, and not too happy about that. And of course, at the last page, that's not a good time for a guest to show up. Daredevil.
The one from the freezer, Tristan. The one from the freezer. Oh, sorry.
Dead body from the freezer, Tristan. So, but yeah, I mean, issue 6. You're muted.
I'm always muted. Is that the one from the freezer?
Freezer pops. But yeah, Punisher 6, very good. Again, lots going on. Ares, like I said, Daredevil shows up at the end, because I think it's going to cross over with Daredevil at some point. We see why Frank's kids aren't around, and
anyway, are you done? Or
yeah, go ahead. You got another book?
Okay, sorry, I'm just reorganizing myself here. Anyway, yes. So Star Trek Mirror War Troi.
Ooh,
this is interesting. We open up. Riker has taken control of Earth, and she seems like she's being a bit pissy about it. But then you do her flashback. You see her, basically, she has surrendered to the Empire, on her terms and, without having to fight, yada, yada, yada. And it worked out pretty good, quite frankly. Except, it worked out good for her. Her people are suffering, and they're paying a lot in taxes to the Empire, which seems really uncool. And it's gotten to this point where everyone is, trying to kill, not Jedzia, Deanna Troi, as the head of it, but she is attempting to manipulate Picard to get her post as the Inquisitor on the Stargazer, you see. So, yeah, she eventually sacrifices her friend at the end of this, becomes the Inquisitor, and now we see that actually this was all part of her master plan. Dun, dun, dun. So she's very excited to be taking over the world. So that's cool. You got another book, Phil?
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Oh, I don't know if you read New Fantastic Four, number 4.
I did not. Tell me about it.
Well, this is interesting. Mephisto shows up the Ghost Rider and the priest, and we find out why the priest has the powers he does.
Which is?
Well, Mephisto seduced a nun, and that that was the priest's mother and father. So yes, this priest is the father is the son of Mephisto.
Well, he needs kids too. And for all we know, that's all he's telling them. It's...
Yeah.
Every so often, I don't believe anything that Mephisto says.
Yes.
As a rule.
Oh, yeah. And then meanwhile, they're Spider-Man and Wolverine are trying to fight the possessed Johnny Storm, and it's like, oh, he can't die, so Wolverine's just like hacking his arms off and stuff, and he keeps like just coming back. But
well, you gotta appreciate that strategy,
Oh, yeah. But then, the rest of the real Fantastic Four show up, including, since it's the right time period, Sharon Ventura.
Sharon Ventura. Ms. Marvel.
That's right.
Ready to bust some heads, man.
But yeah, the issue ends with basically, so both Fantastic Fours there, and I guess a giant demon.
Oh, a giant demon shows up, as they do.
Because they're like, Fantastic Four, how'd you find us? Oh, we tracked that, flying, we tracked that, the ship you took.
Oh yeah, that one, I remember.
Our ship, yeah.
That thing you took from us? That had a low jack in it. Okay, one last book I want to throw out there. Star Wars issue 27, The Good People. Which is a pretty neat story. You have the people in the escaping Tri-Wing. Someone asks, hey, can we talk to that, SS person? And they're like, she'll be with you in a minute. She's just filing a report. And then the guy says, wait, told them she was filing a report? They can track all transmissions, even encrypted ones. They know she's not filing a report. So they send out the TIE fighters. Battle happens. They reach out to a rebel node. And they're debating, it says, please give us coordinates to get out of here. They do a jump. When they do a jump, they get immediately attacked by more TIE fighters. They do a jump again. They have to crash land on Coruscant. Once there, they sort of have to blend in with the 1 trillion people on Coruscant. But at least they seem to be able to at least not be immediately shot. So that's good. Meanwhile, back at the Rebel base, they're discussing what do we do with the, what distress calls will be a priority. And then someone says, hey, what about that? What about item number 5? And it says, really? You think... Oh, by the way, just before this, just so you know, they got the message, and Lando Calrissian says, yeah, that is totally a trap. Do not give them this. It's too good to be true.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. But, anyway, here we are, and the guy who says, I got a good feeling about them, happens to be Luke Skywalker, so... Which is how they got the other Death Star plans, man.
So, what was the name of that book? Star Wars what?
Star Wars. Just Star Wars. This takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So and this is Star Wars number 27.
Okay.
The Good People. So there we go. All right, Philip. Anything else to toss out, my friend?
No. Because I got a few issues we could talk about on Avengers.
Okay, perfect then. Yeah, I saved my 2 Avengers books for that as well.
All right, so yes, kids. All right, next week, send in your thoughts because we're going to be doing the Ghost Rider 50th anniversary with some issues from the end of the original series, and we're going to be talking to the writer of some of those issues, Mr. J.M. DeMatteis himself. So stay tuned for that, and also because he's coming on because he has a Kickstarter to promote. So yes, if you have any questions for Mr. DeMatteis, and especially Ghost Rider, email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Find links to all the various social medias for all the shows we do. Links to the YouTube channel. Everything we do gets a video. So smash that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of any of it.
Smash it!
And most importantly, the Patreon. Every little bit helps. We're paying for this ourselves, but $3 to $5 gets you early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
And the superhero movie brackets. We will find the worst superhero movie of all time. And another way to help support us, Capes and Lunatics merchandise. Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merchandise. So find that all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right, Charlie Esser, where can people find you?
Well, they can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way that our mothers and fathers once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on the Twitter as I live tweet things when I feel like it, like maybe Stargirl, unless I'm recording at that time. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Real quick,
Thank you,
you're
Miles.
caught up on Stargirl, right?
Yeah,
2.
Did the new episode drop?
There's 2 episodes.
Yeah, I saw 2.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes. I mean, Starman's the killer, right? Spoilers.
Probably. But we'll see. We'll see.
It's a murder mystery. Yeah, I can't spoil it. That's just my guess because we're only 2 episodes in, kids. So, but
yeah, but they're kind of leading you there, so you got to be careful.
That's true.
All right.
All right.
So until next time, Philip.
I know. All right, kids, that's right. So until next time when we talk to Mr. J.M. DeMatteis, we have been your Capes
Ampersand.
the Lunatics. And remember, kids, bow and genuflect when your petty lord walks by. Doom has spoken. I think Charlie. All right. So yes, in 1 week, we will talk to Mr. J.M. DeMatteis about some of his Ghost Rider issues from the original series, and he'll tell you how you can help support his Kickstarter. He's given us so much great entertainment, kids. We can support him. All right. So until next time, remember, never major and petty at college. Good night.
Hi, I'm Russell.
And I'm Justin.
And we're from the
Hold up. Listen up, you nerds. Tired of being a little goody two-shoes? Had enough of always talking about acts of courage and heroism? Well, you have come to the right place, I guess. Tomes of Evil is the comic book supervillain podcast, where every month we do a deep dive on a different comic book supervillain, as well as multiple sub-series on some of the most iconic foes of all time, including Darkseid, Doctor Doom, Scarecrow, and...
Named Hobgoblin, and you're right on time for your funeral.
I better be getting paid for this. So what are you guys waiting for? Bring on the bad guys.
Tomes of Evil, a comic book